Hey guys, it's Bina, and today I want to go over the Beastmaster Stormcrow build. This is the highest DPS build in the entire game as far as I'm concerned. So if you want to play something that is a melee build, that is also a minion build, keep in mind we rely on snapshotting in this build guide. So if snapshotting is not for you, you will have to adjust the gearing a little bit to get your minions to get health and mitigation and dodge and some sorts of survivability. But it is the best damaging ability in the entire game, and if you want to one-shot things, this is the build for you. So let's go straight into it. This is an Abrot kill with basically a day 2-3 character that I just played today. This is still in the current 1.1 patch, so this is not in the 1.2 patch. The build relies for defense on Vessel of Strife and health regen stacking. In Season 2, there has been some changes to health regen affixes. We're getting brand new idols as well with ward retention, ward per second, flat health regen idols, also percent regen idols, which are more potent. So keep an eye out for this. This is going to be extremely powerful and very, very good. This is also my my plans for League starting. So basically here I can show a little bit of gameplay that I just recorded earlier today. This is what I'm going to be starting out for the hardcore race. Although I'm not eligible, I will be participating just for fun. Like I'm going to try to get to kill Uber Abrot as fast as possible. And so I'll be starting with Storm Totem in Spriggan form with Torn Totem as well. And then swapping into Beastmaster Crows afterwards once I get my Vessel of Strife in the Temporal Sanctum. So let's go straight into the build guide. And we're going to go over everything that this build is about. So, Stormcrows. Here it is. So, keep in mind, big disclaimer, we are using minion snapshotting. So, if you don't like this, just skip this build or adjust the gearing. But this build is optimized for snapshotting. It also has a snapshotting planner. What is snapshotting in last Epoch? We have the nice little FAQ section here. So, snapshotting is equipping a certain set of gear, summoning your minions, and then equipping another set of gear for your own defenses. So why we do this is because when the minions are summoned, they keep the stats from whatever equipment you had at the time. And for as long as you stay in the same area and the entire monolith is considered one big area, the minions keep the stats. So you don't need to do this every 5 minutes. You do it once per play session, or if you die, of course you're gonna have to resummon them. So it's all explained here at the bottom here and how to snapshot properly. There are some items that can be very, very potent when snapshotting. You have access to stuff like Jorah Star Dial, which essentially triples the stat on the item whenever you use a movement ability. So if you put in minion health, minion damage, minion dodge, those can be tripled. You can equip 2 of these, and then Communion of the Erase. You use a potion, and then it doubles the stats on the belt. Same principle here. So you would dash, use a potion, summon your crows, swap in the gear, and you're good to go. All right, now that this is out of the way, let's go straight into the build. Why would you want to play this? Well, it's because you're looking for the hardest hitting ability in the entire game. As far as I'm concerned, this is the best DPS in the game. So it is quite tanky. It relies on regen. So a lot of the times, the weakness of minion builds is not being able to sustain their health. You have to maybe build a little bit of leech and you deal a tiny bit of melee damage yourself. So maybe you're leeching a little bit, or you're relying on like very bad source of healing. With a Vessel setup, this is kind of like fixed, and especially with the changes in the new patch, which we're going to be getting these crazy idols for ward retention and flat health regen as a suffix. So very, very good defensively. And amazing offensively. So we got different planners here. If you want to open the full planner, click on it and you'll be able to see all of the variants, including the snapshotting gear and the Uber Abrot version and everything like this, right? So click on the planner to see the gear progression. First of all, let's go into crows. I can actually go in game for this one. Crows, they have access to a lot of multipliers. This is the main reason why they are dealing so much damage. So early on, like very, very early on, they might feel a little bit like they are made out of paper, but as you get more gear, as you summon them with more health, more dodge, and especially there's a very important one is snapshotting this one here, Living Seed. Living Seed gives you minion damage leeches health on hit. This will basically make it so that every time that you use Crow Storm, they will leech a good amount of their health, and so not only do you rely on regen, on minion regen, but a lot on leech to like make them sustain their life. You also heal them with swipe every time that you use the ability. Nearest companion health is restored on hit, so that is also very good for their own survivability. So crows deals a lot of damage. We're just grabbing all the multipliers, and it's going to be mainly the Crow Storm that is the main damage for them. Their auto attack do a certain amount of damage, but it's really not the it's like 5% maybe. It's like, I don't know, I'm saying a random number here, but it's like very, very little. They also provide you with a lot of armor shred, which on any hit build is a must to multiply your damages even further. So we are buffing them with Tempest Strike. This is why we are a melee build. Tempest Strike has this node here, Gladiator of Lagon, which grants them spell damage per stack. So this is a ramp up build. You ramp up over 8 seconds up to your maximum amount of stacks, and you're doubling the effect of these stacks with 50 int, which we have thanks to Cleaver Solution. And if you go to the cold variant, you can also reach this with another belt, Orion's Descent, which we'll see a little bit later. But yeah, so Tempest Strike, what we're doing, we're buffing the crows. We are getting as much attack speed as possible. With these two nodes here, we are removing some Tempests. We are gaining mana when we are not casting a Tempest. And then we're also getting haste for 3 seconds. So the only Tempest that we want to get is the Wind Tempest. This is why we're not grabbing this one, to get the haste for 3 seconds. Warcry, we're granting our crows 100% crit chance here. Increased crit, which is going to help us reach the cap of 100% crit chance with them. Also, something that I forgot to mention here on crows is that the reason why you want to go melee as well, not only because of Gladiator of Lagon, but there are many nodes that your crows get buffs depending on they get a chance to get a buff depending on your melee hits. So they get a more damage multiplier here, they get the crit chance here. So that's another reason why we want to go melee with the crows. So a couple of things: increased crit on Warcry, you get invulnerability, you also get a cleanse, which is insanely good. You get a pull instead of a knockback, so you pull everything towards you to, you know, clear even better with your crow's ability. Since you know, Crow Storm is not that big of an AoE, you could make it bigger if you want to invest more points in here. But yeah, you want to pull stuff, especially on fights like Temporal Sanctum, like Tier 4 Jolra, stuff like that. If she goes out into the lasers, you are melee, so you can't really go out there and then just stand in lasers. You want to pull her a little bit more towards you to be able to manipulate the fight. We are reducing the cooldown, and we are also getting the Berserk buff to get attack speed. So attack speed, you don't need like a crazy amount of attack speed, but it is much easier to get a lot of stacks of Gladiator of Lagon and maintain those stacks with the more attack speed that you have. It might seem counterintuitive because this effect of this particular effect has a maximum trigger of 3 times per second. But when you are on a fight and you're casting all of your other abilities, it is pretty important that you can get your maximum number of hits in the least amount of time, because all of these other abilities take time to cast, right? Warcry takes time, the Crow Storm manually cast takes time, and even the swipe is going to be faster with the more melee attack speed that you have. So that is another reason why we want melee attack speed, so this one is very good. If you go with a cold variant, of course, we go grab these nodes around here, and you get also increased damage for your cold crows. On swipe, the main thing that we want to do is we want to proc our companion ability with every swipe. So we are adding a cooldown to swipe, and then we're also giving our nearest companion ability on hit. So if you hit with swipe, your crows will cast Crow Storm. So that is just it's the main interaction that we want. We get a kill threshold. We get some more health regen. In the next patch, this node in particular is nerfed quite a bit. So I think it's down to 15% instead of 75. So quite a significant nerf. And then the extra points are basically useless. So we put them in the shock chance. If you're using lightning crows, you will be able to get a little bit more shock for this node here. Summon Wolf, only there for a passive buff of +1 maximum companion. There are some nodes that stack with damage per crow, so yeah, we're just getting damage by having an extra crow. So literally, think of this one just as another more multiplier for your crows. So we are not actually summoning them. The last thing you want on your bar is going to be Fury Leap to be able to move, you know, move well during mapping. And then there's one thing that I want to talk about here is the spell queuing system in last Epoch, where the abilities from left to right have priority over the other ones. So you want to put your most like the highest priority abilities on the left. So that's why I put Warcry on the left, so that our crows will always get 100% crit chance. And then you get the swipe, you get the crows, because this crow storm is way longer to do than a swipe. So you actually don't want this to have a higher priority than it. So this. If you want, you could even just play maps while just holding all the buttons and then just meleeing whatever other monsters that you're encountering to buff your crows. So that pretty much covers that section. So we went over all of the skills. Here you can see in the guide actually additional skill tips if you go for the cold variants and stuff like this. Passives, pretty straightforward. We're grabbing stuff for minion damage. We're grabbing a lot of strength because Cleaver's solution is actually converting all of your strength to intelligence, and also strength gives you armor, and we're getting a little bit of armor mitigation applies to damage over time to mitigate dots. This with the boots as well, Advent of the Erased. So very good synergies with strength. And then this also gives us our int to be able to get double the benefits from Gladiator of Lagon. Let's go over the gearing a little bit. Actually no, it's going to be in another section. So let's go over the passives. So yeah, health, we're grabbing minion damage, we're grabbing less damage taken on low health. This Cornered Beast is extremely good with Aura's Time Glass. When you reach 30% health, it will bring you back up to full with a ward pool as well. And so you will get the damage mitigation for your entire health for 5 seconds as soon as Aura Time Glass procs. That is very good. In the Beastmaster tree, you get less damage taken from nearby enemies. Very good. 2 points here. These points are kind of flexible because they give you a little bit of attack speed, but honestly, you could put them anywhere. You could put them in like companion dodge and dodge rating. Like, yeah, there's like, these are kind of optional. They don't do much because the buff is not permanent. You get health, companion health. You get strength and health regen. Of course, we're scaling health regen because we are a vessel setup. 2 points in here. The minion cast speed and move speed and revive speed doesn't really matter because you are not leveraging their actual cast speed to deal damage. You are just manually casting the active ability. So this one really does not matter. Very important, Porcine Constitution. You are a melee build, and Beastmaster has this node here, which grants you 15% extra damage reduction from aspect of the boar. So it's 15% plus 15%, it's your 30% damage reduction as long as you have aspect of the boar, which you will have constantly because you have 20% chance to get it on melee hits. 1 point here to get your endurance applies to your companions, so your crows will be a little bit tankier. Next, you want to go to Cry of the Lynx to get increased crit chance. This is how one of the ways that we cap the critical strike chance for the crows. They will also get this for a certain duration. And then you go into the +1 maximum companion. Again, just another multiplier for our crows. Crit multi, and then some attack speed here to help maintain a high amount of stacks of Gladiator of Lagon. In the Shaman tree, grabbing some damage, cooldown recovery for Crowstorm. Currently in the patch, this node is bugged and does not reduce the cooldown recovery speed for Crowstorm, but hopefully in Season 2 this will have an effect. Attunement. Attunement scales the crows as well, 4% increased damage per strength or attunement. We're getting endurance threshold, and we are reaching the stun avoidance per attunement, which is quite a nice bonus because stuns can be quite annoying in LE. And then we're grabbing the shared spell Lighting Pan per 5 attunement as well, and the flat lightning damage. Keep in mind, if you're using the cold version, the passive change a little bit. In the cold version, you'll want to grab this node here for Frostbite chance to get the bigger, more multiplier, because you need some stacks of Frostbite to reach a maximum multiplier in one of the nodes on the crow tree. But for the lightning version, this is what you do. Oh, and also, which version do I recommend? if you want to go for a versatile, tanky version, good for pretty much everything, go with the lightning version. If you want to go for giga damage, go cold. Then in the druid tree, endurance armor, and then just attunement and strength in all attributes. This one is very good since the crows scale with both attunement and strength. A few additional passive tips here if you want to read why we are grabbing certain nodes. So what you're going to do, you cast Walk Around cooldown, you attack with Tempest Strike to stack Gladiator of Lagon, use Swipe on cooldown, and use Crowstorm on cooldown. Very simple build, and then your survivability is all based on regen, so it's very, very nice. Okay, let's talk about gearing a little bit. So as we talked about, this is mainly a regen build, so Vessel of Strife. We're also going to have some idols that gives us ward per second and ward retention. So these are all very, very nice items that work very well together. In addition, we have Aura's Time Glass, which gives us also a second life, but also 60 ward retention and attack and cast speed. So not only is it defensive, but it's also offensive by giving us more attack speed to stack more stacks of Gladiator of Lagon. The bread and butter of the build is Cleaver Solution on the Lightning version, so that you transfer all of your strength to Int to get double the amount of double the effects of Gladiator of Lagon again. Bastion of Honor, with all the strength that we have, we're going to have 100% block chance against anything that is near us. And since we are melee, we're pretty much going to have this against everything. Keep in mind, the ranged enemies you won't block. But this is going to be a very, very tanky setup. And this patch introduced Mantle of the Pale Ox. This gives us 24% damage reduction. That is going to be applied at all times, because like our crows are going to be so tanky that they will never die. And as soon as you do one crow storm, they'll just fill their health back up immediately. This is one of the best body armor of the patch. Movement speed, strength, which gives you also 4% increased armor per point, plus to the strength minion skills. That also applies to crows, since crows have the strength and attunement tag. 32% increased health for you and your minions. And also, on top of this, we have a guaranteed 1 LP slam on it. So, pretty straightforward to go with Summon Storm Crows. Insane body armor. This is going to make you so tanky. It's amazing. Next up, the Brewmaster Buckle, another staple of the patch. You can, with the +4 potions, and you already have 4 by default, you will be able to spam potions to get up to your entire health pool covered as endurance threshold. This means that you will get 60% damage reduction on demand anytime you want, because this effect does stack against anything. So, example, you're fighting little monsters, in a regular Echo. You're having a good time. You're not really using potions because you're so tanky. And then you go and fight a big champion possessed, or you fight a boss fight, and you have so much damage, you don't need much time, right, to kill it. You just spam all your potions, you're guaranteed to get all of your health as endurance threshold, and you just one-shot the boss, and you tank all of his abilities. Amazing belt. Don't sleep on the Brewmaster Buckle. It is just absolutely amazing. Here we go for cooldown recovery speed, because we are a cooldown-based build. We are going to be using Swipe and Crowstorm to deal most of our damage. So this is what you want to do. You grab cooldown, and you grab also reduced damage from crits. So this is the one that I went for tier 7. I had another setup before, which was not like this. It was using the Fiery Dragon Shoes, but I felt like going with more damage mitigation against dots, especially with the game getting harder, is going to be a better setup. So that is for this one. You get as many plus skills as possible. Our Archer's Legacy gives us +2 to all minion skills, +1 to maximum companions, best in slot for your helmet. You slap crit multi here. If you want to go more defensive, you can also get health regen here. +2 levels to spell minion skills on the glove as well. Raven's Rise, pretty straightforward here as well. I went for armor mitigation, applies to damage over time to get a much better balanced setup. But if you want to, you could also go for health regen here if you wanted to. Vessel, you farm this in the Temporal Sanctum. It cannot drop without LP. So this one always drop with LP. And you have a guaranteed slam on it, so the health regen is just guaranteed here. Reroll it till you get a good implicit and good stats on it. What did we not talk about? We did not. We talked about this one for less damage over time. Red Rings of Altlaria. Basically, these, if you are COF, they are easily target farmable. If you are MG, yes, they will require more, a bit more luck to sell items for gold to be able to buy them, because you can't really target farm them that easily in MG. But the Weaver tree adds some new, just added some new tools to be able to target farm certain items. So who knows? Some people might find some very, very interesting strategies to be able to target farm specific items more easily. We'll have to see. I'll be exploring that as well. So strength, and I've added another affix here for health and health regen. There are many different options you could go. You could go for percentage regen, flat health and health regen. You could go for another roll of strength as well. The options are available to you. So that is pretty much it. And we already talked about the idols, which are ward retention, ward per second, health, and flat health regen. 4 idols here to cap your reduced bonus damage taken from crits, because you don't have enough only with the belt and the boots here. In the aspirational planner, as you can see, I use Apogee of the Frozen Light. This one gives you a more multiplier for your a more cold and necrotic damage to shield enemies to your minions, and this one stacks if you are dual wielding it. Again, if you go in here and you go into the Uber Aberrod version, I have 2 of these to stack the more multiplier here, but the Frozen Vengeance buff does not stack, so keep that in mind, right? And we're using Orion's Descent Belt to get 25 int to be able to reach 50 intelligence to gain access to the double stacks from Gladiator of Lagon. So that pretty much covers the gearing. If you want to read through it, go ahead. These are the scaling stats and the defensive stats, some bit of scaling tips. In 1.2, we're going to have the loot filter here, which I am currently working on updating. I'm going to be talking about this in every guide I do here, but it is what it is. So just before the patch, make sure if you plan on making this build, click on the loot filter here and re-add the filter from the game. What is snapshotting in Last Epoch? How do I snapshot? Is it necessary? All of these answers are here. It's not necessary, but you would have to build some sort of tankiness in different slots for your crows to be able to survive, and certainly some minion leech. And that is pretty much it. I think we've covered everything here. Did I miss anything, guys? I don't think I missed anything, right? Amazing build. 100% would recommend. If you want to do giga damage, the most damage in the game, this is what you want to play. See you in the next video.